Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Sauce. Solid Sunday, man. It actually was a great one. Picked up 1.98 units. It should have been better. I don't know why I bet the Mavericks. I even wrote in the write-up, I was like, this isn't going to make my final ticket. And then I was placing my final bets, and for some reason I put the Mavericks on there. Someone in the Discord even said it too. They were like, Kyle, why are we betting the Mavericks? You wrote that you didn't really like them. I don't know why that ended up there. It cost us a few dollars, but overall was a good one. Kings money line was huge. Bulls money line was huge. Also, Hornets was a nice dog that hit. So yeah, coming into the start of this week with some momentum. You gotta love it. Just 4 games on the slate for Monday. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
First up, we got Toronto on the road in Indiana here. Pacers laying 6.5 points at home. The total sitting at 246. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, we used to see a 1-point Pacers win. Final score 118-117 Indiana. Injury reports, and we'll start with Toronto. We got nothing. As of right now, nobody on the report for the Raptors. On the Indiana side, it looks like Nesmith may be returning. He's missed the last 2 games for the Pacers. He's listed as questionable. Everyone else is good to go as of right now, but the Pacers are on a back-to-back, so wouldn't be crazy for someone to pop up on the injury report as we get closer to tip-off. Betting trends on the Toronto side. Raps have covered 3 in a row. 3-0 against the spread in their last 3 for Toronto. On the season, they're 12-11-1 against the spread as road dogs. On the Indiana side, well, the Pacers are 6-2 in the last 8, so the Pacers have started winning some basketball games. Just 4-4 against the spread, so they failed to cover the number in 2 of those wins. Kind of important to take note of that because they're laying 6.5 points in this one. They are 2-0 against the spread in their last 2 at home. So let's match these 2 teams up on the court, and we'll start with overall efficiency numbers. Actually, pretty close here. 21st to 15th in favor of Indiana. Now, keep in mind, my spreadsheets don't update till 9 a.m. So as of right now, this doesn't include the Pacers-Mavericks game. So the strength of schedule, I'll show you right here, is 26th to 29th. The Pacers' strength of schedule is 29th in the last 5 games without the Mavericks included. So that's the last 5 games before Dallas. Important to point that out. But as a whole, raw efficiency numbers on paper, the gap between these 2 teams is not big. As far as the matchup for the Raps offense, at first glance, it looks like Toronto might have the sizable edge here on the offensive glass, 13th to 25th in the last 10 games. But if you switch it to the last 5 games, you'll see that the Pacers actually have great numbers on the defensive boards. Now, it could be because they played an easy schedule recently. We just pointed that out. But still, with numbers like this, I don't know if we can blindly pencil in the Raptors for a bunch of second chance points in this game. I do have some good news for the Raptors offense, though. They should definitely be able to get buckets down low in this one. 37% of Toronto's shot attempts in the last 5 games have come at the basket, 5th most in the NBA in that time span. Look at the Pacers' defensive numbers at the rim in the last 5, 30th. Dead last in defensive efficiency, and that's against the weak schedule they've played. The strength of this Indiana defense recently has been on the perimeter, specifically against the above the break 3. Pacers have been great out there, which is why I shouldn't have bet the Mavericks yesterday. I don't know why I bet that. Because as we know, Dallas shoots a lot of threes from out there. That should have scared me off the bet. But look at the Raptors shooting numbers from outside. 29th in frequency from above the break, 24th from the corner. Toronto hasn't been shooting any threes. So the Pacers' defensive strength might be neutralized a little bit in this one. And we also got to keep in mind that the Raps offense has actually been better on the road all season. 28th in efficient field goal percentage at home this year, 13th on the road. Now, defense and rebounding numbers on the road are pretty shit, but shooting's been there for the Raps in these road games. And this Indiana Pacers team is on a back-to-back. As I just pointed out, this team just played Dallas yesterday. Pacers on 0 days rest this season, 30th in the NBA in defensive efficient field goal percentage. In those games, they're just 2-8 straight up, 2-8 against the spread. So yeah, I think we can count on the Raps putting up points in this game. Now on the other side, obviously we know the Pacers offense has the edge here. I mean, 4th in efficient field goal percentage to 21st. But after that, I'm not really seeing a ton of angles here as far as the main 4 factors go. Raptors' weak spot has been protecting the glass on the defensive side. They've been getting worked on the offensive glass. Pacers have been the worst offensive rebounding team in the NBA recently. No question, though, when we pull up some shot zones on this side of the court, Pacers are going to score points on the interior. I mean, no doubt. Pacers have been very efficient scoring down there. They attack the rim a lot. Raptors in the last 10 games, 22nd in efficiency defending the rim, 25th defending the short mid-range shot. But is that enough to lay 6.5 points here? In my opinion, the answer is no. We just saw these two teams play on Valentine's Day. Now, that was on the road up in Toronto, but it came down to the wire. The final score was 127-125. Pacers won. Raps dominated the boards. Points in the paint was 84-44. The only reason Indiana won that game was their outside shots were falling and Toronto's weren't. It's that simple. Toronto bullied the Pacers on the interior, which is why I'm taking the Raps here. I'd also lean towards the over, but I'm just going to roll with Toronto plus 6.5. Next game. Pistons on the road in New York to play the Knicks. Knicks laying 11 points at home. The total sitting at 223.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 9-point Knicks win. Final score 118-109 New York. Injuries and inactives here. Pistons are going to be without Isaiah Stewart. He's suspended for, I think, one more game. I think this is the last one he's going to miss, if I'm not mistaken. Marcus Sasser is also going to be missing from the bench. He's been ruled out. On the New York side, the injury report is exactly the same. Julius Randle still out. OG Anunoby still out. Mitchell Robinson still out. Betting trends on the Pistons side. Detroit 13-5 against the spread in their last 18, but they are 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 on the road. On the season, they're 14-14 against the spread as road dogs. On the Knicks side, not looking good here. 1-7 against the spread in their last 8, 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 at home. On the season, they're 12-8 against the spread as home favorites. So we'll pull up some efficiency numbers from the last 10 games here, and these teams are pretty close. I mean, Pistons are 22nd, Knicks are 19th in overall raw efficiency. Knicks defense back at 26th. Strength of schedule pretty much dead even, 5th and 6th. So based on these numbers, I mean, how do we not blindly take the points with Detroit here? The problem is, if you look at the last 10 games for the Knicks, it's just really hard to make any sort of judgments with this team right now. Jalen Brunson missed the game. DiVincenzo missed the game. Hardenstein missed a few games. Bogdanovich has only played in 4. Burks has only played in 5. The only members of the Knicks roster that have played in all 10 of the Knicks' last 10 games, Josh Hart, Precious Achiuwa, Miles McBride. Other than that, everyone else has missed time, which is why I'm most definitely going to pass on this one. I don't really have a beat on the Knicks right now. I guess I'd probably lean towards Detroit with the points, but I need a bigger sample size before I start laying money on or against the Knicks right now. So I'm going to say Pistons plus 11 or pass. Next game. Brooklyn on the road in Memphis. Grizzlies catching 1.5 and the total sitting at 214.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 3-point Grizzlies win. Final score 111-108 Memphis. Injury report for the Nets. Ben Simmons is on the report. He's listed as questionable. Other than that, the Nets injury report is clean. On the Memphis side, okay, so of the active Grizzlies roster that we have on this graphic, everyone's good to go with the exception of John Konchar, who's been ruled out. Now, they have other guys out, Desmond Bane, Brandon Clark, Marcus Smart, but we took them off the graphic because they have long-term injuries. So of the current Grizzlies active roster, it's only Konchar out. Betting trends on the Brooklyn side, good Lord. 1-6-1 against the spread in their last 8, 2-14 against the spread in their last 16 on the road. Wow. 2-14 against the number in their last 16 road games. Memphis, on the other hand, has some really nice looking trends here. 11-4 against the number in their last 15, including 4 wins in a row, 4-0 against the spread in their last 4, 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 home games. Based on those trends we just look at, how do we not stop the video right now and blindly bet the Grizzlies? I mean, Nets 2-14 in their last 16 on the road. Grizzlies 8-2 in their last 10 at home. I mean, we're going to take a deeper look, but let's just say I have a strong lean towards Memphis before I even look at a number. So let's start with the matchup for Brooklyn offensively. Got to give the edge to the Grizzlies on this side, but it's really only because Brooklyn's offense just has some terrible looking numbers here in the last 10. Memphis defense has the advantage in basically all 4 of the main factors here. I mean, rebounding's pretty much even, but yeah, I got to give the edge to Memphis. If you were wondering just how bad the Brooklyn Nets have been recently, let's pull up their overall efficiency numbers in the last 10 games here. Dead last, 30th in overall net efficiency. This has been the worst team in the NBA in the last 10 games if you go by strictly raw numbers. Now, it's important to take note that the Nets are probably undervalued right now because they played a very strong schedule. They're 3rd in strength of schedule in the last 10 games, but Memphis is 4th. So if you want to say, hey, there's some value on this Nets team because they've played an insanely strong schedule, okay, but you kind of also have to make that same point for Memphis. But what worries me the most here for this Nets offense is when we take a look at these shot zones. As we know, the Nets take a ton of jump shots, 9th, 4th, and 8th in frequency from the short mid-range, long mid-range, and above the break 3. Nets live and die by the jump shot. Look at the Grizzlies' defensive numbers against those zones. 11th, 3rd, and 11th in efficiency. The weak spot of this Grizzlies defense recently has been at the basket. Nets just really don't have much of an interior scoring presence right now. So the Memphis defense is actually a tough matchup for Brooklyn. And when we flip it over to the other side and look at the matchup for Memphis offense, it really doesn't get much better for Brooklyn. As we know, the Grizzlies live and die by the above the break three. 33% of their shot attempts in the last 10 games have been above the break threes. Look at the Nets defensive numbers. Opponents are shooting 41.9% against the Nets from that zone in that time span, 28th in the NBA. So as far as betting this game, I will not touch Brooklyn here. I mean, 0% chance I'm on the Nets. But I don't know if I can 100% get there with Memphis either. I've had success betting on this Grizzlies team, but I'm usually catching 7.5, 8 points when I do it. This is essentially betting the Grizzlies to win the game, and I don't know if I can pull the trigger on that. I would also like to hit the under here, but all the way down at 214 makes it tough there as well. So I'll say Memphis plus 1.5 or pass for now. I'll let you know if I made a decision on the live show tomorrow at 4 p.m. But as of right now, I'm probably leaning towards a pass here. Next game. Miami is on the road out west in Sacramento. Kings laying 7.5 points at home. The total sitting at 226.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, Miami should win outright. Final score 115-111 Heat. Injury reports on the Miami side. All right. So Terry Rozier might be back. He missed a couple games for Miami. He's listed as questionable. Tyler Hero might miss this one. He's also listed as questionable. He was listed as questionable in the Pelicans game the other night. He ended up playing. Jimmy Butler is out. He's suspended from that altercation in the Pelicans game. Josh Richardson is still out with a shoulder injury. So Miami definitely not healthy here. On the Sacramento side, Kings are in pretty good shape here. Vezenkov is still out. He's been out for a while, though. Other than that, nobody on the report for the Kings as of right now, but they did just play a game against the Clippers last night. So like I always say, don't be surprised if someone pops up on the injury report as we get closer to tip. As far as betting this game, I don't even need to break out the spreadsheet for this one. You guys already know that I'm betting the Heat here. Just so many of the boxes are checked off. First of all, you got the Kings on a back-to-back, but that's not the reason I'm betting. I'm not blindly fading the Kings on a back-to-back. You got the Kings at home laying big points. I always fade the Kings at home laying a big number. You got the Heat on the road, a spot I like to bet. The Heat catching a big number, a spot I like to bet. There's just so many spots that I like to play lined up in one here. So yeah, I'm blindly betting Miami. I already bet it and put it in the Discord. So give me Miami plus 7.5. Like I mentioned, live show 4 p.m. Eastern time. We'll go through all the games and make our final decisions. I'll have some guests on like we always do. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. If you want my top bets for all sports parlays of the day, or you'd like to join our Discord, head over to KyleKirms.com. The information's right there on the homepage. We had a really nice Sunday. Let's keep that positivity rolling. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.